Hi, this is Dave from Heroes Needed, just one of the many fine shows you can find on the Nod Network. Visit us on nerdod.com or subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or wherever else you get your favorite podcasts.
Yeah, and what else happened? Oh, I fell over in the bath and I have bruised my arm and my buttocks. I am officially an old man. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd OD podcast. I'm Dan and I'm furious. How are you, Reg?
I'm Reg and I'm a little bi-furious.
Oh, I like it. Oh, that's really relevant to something that's happening right now as we speak, which we're missing.
We are indeed. The only thing is we're also going to miss something else amazing as well on Wednesday night.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, Dan Doddy and his I'm busy doing actual proper D&D campaigns with people who know how to play.
Yeah, Wednesday night is when we do D&D. It used to be Thursday, and our Dungeon Master said, oh, I've got a real IRL, like, with actual people and Dungeons and Dragons games I do on Thursday now, so it's going to have to be Wednesday.
Yeah, no offense, they've been doing their campaign for like 2 years or something, so I suppose it's certainly fair we work around that. But
right. What's on Wednesday?
So on Wednesday, Tim Burgess is doing a listening party.
He is.
Of Show Me How the Spectres Dance.
Yes, so Tim Burgess from the Charlatans, who now is more famous for doing Twitter listening parties to albums than he is for the Charlatans. And he started it during lockdown and just been randomly sort of, well, probably not randomly, going through all his favourite albums, getting the artists that made them, the producers, the musicians, anyone he can involved in it to tweet along with it and say, oh yeah, when we made this song, this happened and this was my favourite time and blah blah blah. I remember we were on tour. We should tweet along with it, Reg. We could tweet. So they're doing an album by Liam Frost, who, yes, we go on about Liam Frost a lot, but that's because he's awesome. And it's his debut album. It was Show Me How the Spectres Dance, as Reg said. And we have a lot of stories and ties to that album, really. I mean,
and it's a shame your MySpace isn't properly still operational.
I wish MySpace was the same. There is like this internet, what is it, the Internet Record or something, or the Internet Museum, which holds lots of old versions of websites. And I wonder if they've got an old version of MySpace, because that would be amazing.
Surely they have to.
Maybe.
It's one of the most iconic sort of social media platforms, isn't it? So surely they've got to be like, this is how it first started.
Yeah. But we're in a music video, the debut music video from that album for the Mourners of St. Paul's. Go on YouTube and find it and see if you can spot us when we were like 12, well, 19, 20, something like that. Yeah. Then secondly, we went on tour with the band, kind of. In that we followed them around on tour for a bit, but we helped out. We got free tickets and stuff, and drinks and whatnot. And sold their merch.
Did the mailing list.
That was great.
Bar.
Yeah.
Drank from the bar. Yeah. Got stuff off the rider.
That's the one. Fun times.
Apart from blowing up balloons. Balloons
Lord.
Was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we could tweet along.
We should, because in all the fairness, we don't need any of the screen up apart from our character sheet, so we can have like on the second window or second tab just the thing and be like, oh, this is the song talking about. Well, I've got fond memories for that. Don't have to listen to it. We can just
and to be fair, I can just ignore everything that's going on most of the time, and when I hear someone go, right, Lord Sugar, it's your go, and I just go, all right, Firebolt. Yeah, rolled 12. Okay, damage. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. Bye. And then I'm done.
Nice.
Pretty simple.
I didn't have such a vested interest in our hopefully successful launched podcast.
No, I do. I think you can probably tell that I'm enjoying it more than I guess I thought I would.
Yeah.
It's good. It's funsies. So there's that, and then the thing that we're missing right now is I'm sure it'll be just on the internet to watch anytime, but it was a table read of Scott Pilgrim by most of the original cast.
Yeah, which is an awesome idea.
Yep,
And
most
so
of the
was
original
Tenet
cast
of this-
and Brian Lee O'Malley, who wrote and drew the book, just doing a draw along basically. He's going to do the 7 evil X's. He said he's just going to keep drawing them and showing the pictures when they come up in
awesome.
in the film. Yeah.
What do you make to the whole idea that Edgar Wright wants to do the sort of sequel to see how they are like further on down the line, and Brian Lee O'Malley going, yeah, we're up for that. Like,
I can imagine he wouldn't want to do another comic book of it, but helping make the film, I get that, because it's not like, you hear loads of horror stories about people who have comics or books or whatever, and they get turned into a film and they have barely any input, and it just turns out nothing like they wanted. Whereas Scott Pilgrim was collaborative right from the beginning. I mean, he hadn't even finished the last book, had he? I'm sure he knew what was going to happen, and that's why the film ends differently to the book. Like the whole showdown at the end, and there's different. Well, one of the reasons, I guess. But it was created with him, being a whole part of it, to the point where they even like, oh, can you just do a quick sketch of Ramona's hair for us so Scott can show it, and then he did that weird signature type hair drawing that is now. I would have that picture on my wall. I would just have a print out of that on a canvas on my wall. Is that iconic?
But instead, you've got Scott's face.
That's true. I've got actual Scott's face drawn by Brian Lee O'Malley. Yep. But yeah. Awesome. Anyhow, he had a big input on it, so I could see him maybe if he wanted to revisit it. Why not? I think Netflix need to come at them and go, here's money, go and do a cartoon.
I'm intrigued about that new. Is it Cursed?
Graphic
novels.
Yes, it's a Frank Miller graphic novel, isn't it?
Yeah, I heard very mixed reviews about it so far.
I've not seen anything of it yet, but other than the little sort of the trailer that it forces you to watch when you turn on Netflix, it goes, you might like this, so watch this.
Yeah. No, I'm very intrigued by it. I had no idea what it was or what it actually existed, but everyone kept on saying, it's the next Witcher. This is going to be amazing. And I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
We don't need the next Witcher. We'll just have the next series of The Witcher.
Yeah. Can't wait for that to come out. Yeah. At the minute,
Brian Lee O'Malley's just put up on Instagram the 7 drawings he did.
Oh, really?
And they're amazing. There's one of Lucas Lee just pointing and it says, I'm talking to you, Scott Pilgrim. Nice. And it's just awesome. Anyway, I'm sorry. Carry on.
I don't know where I was going with this now because you completely distracted me into the thing of like,
it's the next Witcher, but the Witcher is the next Witcher because there's another series coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't wait for it. To be fair, I think I'm going to have to rewatch the first one, Vash. I've actually never only watched like the second to last episode, I think it was.
All right, well, tell me when you do, because then I will watch it around the same time.
Have you still not seen it yet?
No, I'm nearly finished at 24. Incredible. I am one disc away from finishing season 8 of 24, so that means I've only got 12 episodes left once I finish this season.
Wow.
It's been fun. It's been a real fun romp, Reg.
I can imagine it has been. I'm just annoyed because I tried to do the same with Ash a while back, and all the way through the first, say, 2 episodes, she was like, there's the boom mic, that's the sound guy, this is that, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore. So we just stopped watching it because I was like, you're trying to ruin 20. Like, she didn't mean to because she just thought it was hilarious. But I'm just like, you genuinely, you're ruining 24. So we're not going to watch this anymore. Like, I can't do it. Genuinely can't do it. But yeah, like I really want to go back and start watching more. But again, it's just one of these things where I'm like, I don't think I've got time for it. But again, if I've listened to 450 odd hours of Critical Role, I genuinely have time to watch.
It's true because it's not your first run through. I definitely don't think I could have spent all these hours. I mean, you got to be closing in on like 250 hours worth of television. I don't think I couldn't have just sat there for 250 hours watching it. It's an extra thing that I'm doing. I'm sat editing a video, like I've been editing this Aha Internet Sings music video, while I've got that on. So especially when so my partner is working from home a lot at the moment, so I have the TV on and I have the Bluetooth headphones hooked up to that, and I have one ear from those headphones in, and then the other ear I have the headphones from my laptop. So I'm editing the video, listening to it on one side of my head, while I've got Jack Bauer shouting in my other ear. It's great. It works.
Wow.
I'm surprised how I can actually multitask with that.
I'd say that is actually impressive.
It's mostly because I've seen it and I roughly know what's going on, even though I'm sort of, it was a long time ago that I watched it, but there's lots of little things that I know that are, coming up and things that happen. So you don't need your whole attention on it. I definitely wouldn't watch anything new while I'm doing it.
No, fair enough. I was going to say, I don't know how you do it. My concentration's horrendous. Like if something happens on the pod, like on the Critical Role pod that I listen to while I'm working, I'm just like, oh my God, what's happened? And I'll flick over to that and just watch it intently to be like, oh my God. And then right at the end, like, shit, I'm supposed to be working. Like, crack back on with what I was doing. I was like, I need to stop doing this and I need to stop doing it now. But it's just one of those really addictive things, especially when it's like a 4.5 hour battle. My work hours are only like 8 hours. So that's half the day gone. It was just a really intense battle. I'm like, and then Mark's like, my boss is like, so what have you done today, Reg? Like, I've got all these calls that I've done that I forgot to notate on Bullhorn, but I have done them, honestly. I've not sat off and watched a podcast for 4.5 hours. Definitely haven't done that. And if you're listening, I swear I haven't done that.
You just have YouTube on the TV with that going on while you're working?
To be honest with you, I've got a laptop and I brought home my monitor. My monitor is...
it's like a second screen.
Yeah, it's like a 28-inch monitor. So I just got it on that. Sometimes I just listen to it on the podcast form so I don't get distracted. Like when I'm busy, I'll do it on just podcast forms. I've got the audio because I use both screens all the time. Because the work I do, I need it. Sound staff does next. All I do is review stuff and do things, but I really need it. So it's dead useful. But the only thing I found now is that if I go back to the office to do work and stuff, and I don't take my screen with me because I'm like, I just need to nip in and do this. I can't work on the second screen. I'm like, this just feels alien. This just feels weird. But because everyone's took the monitors and stuff home, like it's like a ghost office. It's really weird. It's completely empty. I'm just like, this is bizarre. It's like something from like The Last of Us or something. Just like post-apocalyptic, like just loads of wires everywhere. The place is trash because everyone's running out because they were just like, we're free. I'm just like, you could at least tidied the place before you ran off. So it's crazy. But speaking of which, have you completed it yet? Have you got it back? Have you done it?
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Because the last 2-3 days I've been intently trying to get this video edited, so I haven't really had any other time to do anything else. So I'm on I finished day 3 of Seattle, which I think is about halfway through.
No, right, okay. Are you enjoying it any more now then than what you were last week?
I've been thinking about this, and I'm playing it for the story, and that is the only thing that's getting me through it. Now that doesn't mean that it's amazing, right? As a video game and a piece of art, it's amazing. Like, it looks incredible. The direction of it, everything is just brilliant. Exactly what you'd expected. Well, it's not. There's nothing wrong with the gameplay, but there's no change to it. No. It is just sneaky through here. Oh dear, there's some clickers. Right, lie down in the grass, crawl up behind it, kill it. Okay, moving on. And there's some amazing set pieces, and that breaks it up. But I'm almost like, right, I need to get through this area. I ended up in a lot of the places just running. You're it's pretty obvious where you've got to go to get through to the next little sort of boxed off section. So you'll get into an area where there's houses and stuff, and then there'll be a little dead quick cutscene, like a truck pulls up and some of the bad guys get out and they go, I know she's around here somewhere. So then your choice is either do you go really sneaky beaky and you try and pick them all off one by one, do you go in guns blazing, or do you just run to the opposite corner, because that's pretty much going to be where there's a fence with a hole in it that you've got to get through. And as soon as you through that hole in the fence, they forget about you then. So generally, well, not all the time, but there's been a few times where I've just been like, let's just do that and just run. So it's not inspiring me to go like, like something like God of War. Like I feel that looks and is just as amazing as Last of Us in the way that the story was just so well put together, and I wanted to see exactly where it was going. So that's the same with The Last of Us. But the difference is the gameplay wasn't monotonous. You think, this is just a hack and slash. It's not. It's the adventuring and being able to sort of explore everything.
Do all the little mini puzzles and all that sort of stuff, which are actually fun to do. I get it.
But the exploration in The Last of Us is too. There's been a few times when I know you haven't played it yet, so I'll try not to spoil anything. But there's a couple of sections where you'll get a map. You've got this map for most of the game, and you're in this one area. And it's like you find a note and it says about a building and you mark it on the map and you go, let's go and have a look here. So you've got a little bit of an open world thing to explore. And along the way you can break into different sort of shops and houses and things. And you might find some hidden weapons and whatnot. You might find another note and that says, oh, there's a bank down here and apparently there's this thing, or there's a garage that someone left some guns in. So you explore those, and you don't have to. You can just go to the place you need to go to.
Have you come across the? Oh, sorry.
No, go on. I mean, that's just past that. There's not really much else of that. It's just very linear. But again, it guides you towards through the story quite nicely. So I'm fine with that.
There's two things. Obviously. So the first thing, I know I've talked about it a lot on most recent pods. But have you come across the house? Where there's the D&D game being played. There's a house which I'm pretty sure it's like, I don't know if you have to go in it, but everyone seems to have found it.
Right.
And you go past and Ellie makes a comment.
Yes.
Over the game that does it. Because there's like the guys at Naughty Dog are huge fans of Critical Role, and Ashley Johnson is a huge part of Critical Role. She's like been in the first campaign and hugely in the second campaign, and she plays Ellie. So they were like, "Oh, that'd be awesome if we can just get to come across and have like a little joke about the D&D game that's set up about it." And then also loads of the NPCs as they're just walking around. Half the cast of Critical Role as well that they've just got in because they're obviously professional voice actors and stuff. So they were saying because like they've got a fan base of something stupid like 12 million or something, and they reckon that at least 10 million of those have bought The Last of Us just for that. And it's like, oh my god, like these are in it, let's buy it. And I'm like, buy it for the strength of the game. It's like, I love it, but I'm not like, oh my god, I need to buy that so I can see this bit. Like obviously I've got it anyway, but I will get around to playing it at some point. But it's Naughty Dog. I don't know if
you'll seek that out, and then it'll just be a little
on pod or if it was off pod. But it is like their games, just like their story, like you said, story, graphics, sound, design, concept, everything is immaculate and so beautiful. But their gameplay is so repetitive. Like it's all right, it is fun, but it's like Uncharted's the same. I think, like I said, I can't remember if it was on pod or off pod, but it was like, oh look, there's 3 guys coming at the left, then 2 in the middle, then 1 on the right. Going to the next room, there are 3 on the left, 2 in the middle, and like rinse and repeat, just in different environments. But then you have a really nice big set piece that you're like, oh, this is fun. And The Last of Us 1 did the exact same thing, and The Last of Us 2 is going to obviously follow the pattern, which is a shame. But yeah, obviously they are good. But the one that I am very, very excited to play is the Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And before you just go on to that, just to finish off The Last of Us, that was the very first game that I played when I got a PS4. I think you lent me a couple of games once I got it, and I was like, yeah, this is the one I've heard everything about. This is the one I want to try first, and I loved it. But it had been so long since I'd played such a big AAA, like massive title. I'd been on an Xbox 360 that I'd not really touched for a good while. So I loved it, and I've been really looking forward to this new one.
You've been more excited about The Last of Us 2 than I have, and it's rare for you to get excited about a game.
It's very rare that I go, at the end of the day, if I couldn't play it for free by borrowing someone else's PlayStation that happens to have a billion games on it, I wouldn't have bought it for £40 odd. There's very few games, as we've discussed many times, that I've gone, I need this game, and one of them is Shenmue 3, another one was Portal 2. So it's there are. It doesn't happen very often, but I was trying to think, like, why did I enjoy the first one that much? And I think it's just now because I'm spoiled, because I have played a lot more games now on PlayStation 4, and especially in the last 3 or 4 months since I've had no job. I've been racing through games. I've finished so many games, more games probably in the last 3 or 4 months than I have in the last 2 years. But I will finish it, and I am enjoying it.
I was laughing with Mike and work because obviously, like I was saying, when we first started doing these pods again, I started playing Divinity 2, and like loving it. And obviously, Ash now is playing Animal Crossing. So like I was chatting to Mike about it and being like all the funny stories, like regaling everything that can go on and stuff. And he was like, "That sounds really good. It was really good." And then he messaged me about 4 hours later. Going, right, so I created this character. Oh yeah, by the way, I bought it, and I created this, and this is what I'm doing. I was like, oh right, okay. It's one of those. Your stories just sounded so much fun. And then he messaged me before to be like, so I've just went to save it, and I've got over 60 hours in the game so far. And I was like, wow, that's more time. That's 1 more hour than I spent on my PS4 the entirety of last year. It's like, it's insane. But it's like when I completed Fire Emblem's 3 Houses, I spent more time on that game than I did having the PS4 last year. Like it's crazy, but it's handy to have it. Obviously, when you can have it in handheld mode and stuff like that. Obviously, now we've got the TV up on the wall, and all of us got sleep patterns and stuff like that. And especially now we've got Animal Crossing. Like later on, when you're finished with everything, I'll actually be able to play on the PS4.
Yeah,
I'm not in any rush, by the way, so I'm not.
No, don't worry.
To be like, bring it back now. I want to play because I don't. I've got the Quest. So I started playing that Layers of Fear on the Quest. I know I'm jumping topic to topic, but it's just flowing.
It's okay. We'll just make sure we get back to why I'm furious.
Oh yeah, of course.
But carry on. It's all right. All right.
So I started playing that Layers of Fear VR because it was like critically acclaimed and like won so many awards. Like this horror game when it was out on like PS4 and PC and Xbox and Switch and all the gubbinses, and I was like, I am after a good horror game. This could be fun. So I tried it out, and it's rubbish. It's just it could be good, but I think I was chatting to Sean over it, and I was just saying that I don't know if it's because I think VR is just a quick fix. It's nice to have a quick brag or something. Instead of, right, I've got 4 hours to kill, I'm going to jump in this one title in VR and smash it out. That I just can't see myself getting drawn into the bigger titles, which is a shame because like Resident Evil 7 on the PSVR and stuff. I think it's the Quest. I think that's what it is, because it doesn't look entirely beautiful. So I was walking, and all it is literally you walk around this house. And there's apparently some puzzles to solve, but they just assimilate to walk over there. Can you open that drawer? Yeah, right. There's a button there. Right, okay. Press the candle, and then there's a key code combination which shows up. Try and find the lock where that goes. I was like, oh, well, this is a bit rubbish. And there was about 2 jump scares in the entire thing that I played up to. And like you're only allowed to play up to 2 hours on the Oculus store before you can be like, you know what? No, I'm going to refund it.
Right. Right. Like, did you do that? Is that? Did you take advantage of that?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Okay. It's the best thing. That I think it reminds me back to the old days of game But instead of being able to smash out an entire title, which to be fair I did, because I refunded the Vader Chronicle, Vega Star
Yes. Well, you could finish that in 35 minutes or 2, whatever it is you get.
Yeah, so I refunded all 3 of them. I bought them all when I first got the quest, and I was like, yeah, like done them all, and they are good. Vader them all, sorry, that's what it is. It's coming to the PlayStation VR, so people will get to play it that haven't got a quest. They're fun. They are fun if there's someone else's. If they're going to expect you to drop 30 quid on it by the time it all gets come out on the PlayStation with like all the dojo and all that sort of stuff, it's going to roughly be about 20 to 30 quid. And yeah, the story goes on for about 2 hours in total. If that hour and a half, but you know what, I'm being very generous. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes in total, the story, through all 3 of them. And then they're like, yeah, but you've got these dojos to play, which, are great. And these dojos are, you don't move, you stand in place and you just deflect shit back with your lightsaber. It's fun for like 2 minutes. And I don't see how everyone like, oh my God, I'm on wave 300. I'm like, really? Wow. But this is what the quest is. So no, I'm complaining. I'm having long stories, complaining about having short stories. But it's nice to jump on the quest, and like I'm playing Tetris to just chill out. And playing Tetris Effect in VR is amazing. Like that is stunning. But the Layers of Fear, I was like, you know what, refund it. I don't want it. And then they released that Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. And I was like, and everyone's like, you can see the reviews of it all. And to be fair, on the Oculus Store, everyone's very honest. So they will be like, you know what, this is shit. Don't buy it. And it's there for everyone to see. They don't hide it. It's great. So I was like, and everyone's like, you know what, this is actually really fun. If you want something to show someone a horror game, get this. Because it's dead short, dead quick, and dead fast with the scares. And I was like, right, okay, I'll tell you what then, I'll give this a go. So I got it, and Ash was sitting there playing Animal Crossing next to me. And I was leaning over to like turn off the power. Because I don't know if you've played Five Nights at Freddy's, but basically you're in the control room, follow the CCTV cameras, and you've got to block the doors over so things can't jump in and murder you.
That's it. And you've just got to conserve your power, haven't you? Like it seems so basic, and I don't get why it's taken off. It's taken off in the way that Minecraft and Roblox and like all these 8-year-old YouTubers want to sit and watch it all day.
But that's why. It's because
it's so simplistic.
So simplistic. And
but feels grown up.
If you buy it on any of the platforms, it was like £1.49.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was cheap as anything for people to buy. But like, oh my God, look, I'm playing the same as what these are.
Saying that, I can see a VR version of it that I'm sure they would put a little bit more into being a fair bit more fun.
Yeah, so
I get that.
This Help Wanted is basically just the best of all of the existing Five Nights at Freddy's they put into this one big package, and then you can do like the mini games and stuff like that throughout it as well. Right. Obviously, I've never played them. I wasn't really asked because all I could see was all these YouTube kids and stuff going like, oh my God. And I was like, nope, lost interest. But then I was like, I just want to play something that's scary. Like, I want to play, I've got a VR for this reason. This is what I want VR for, apart from Pistol Whip. So I was like, right. So I started playing it, and I went to lean over to conserve my power, and there was one of the things that was stood at the door. And I was like, was that there before? Like, the sound and everything it does draw you in the VR, and it is creepy as fuck. And when it jumped at me, I just went, oh, like, ships up. Ash started laughing. And then I was like, yeah, very funny. And literally like 2 minutes later, I was like, right, let's try this again. And then something else happened, and I was like, fuck. I was like, oh my God, right, okay, yeah. This is actually fucking creepy as dicks. And it takes, like, the first go takes less than a minute to shit yourself if, if you're not concentrating properly. Like, I had one headphone in, just so I could like still hear Ash talk. It doesn't. The annoying thing about Quest is it doesn't have what the PlayStation VR's got, where if you put the headphones in, the headset's got the microphone in it still, so you can hear everything outside you. Whereas the Quest doesn't have that. So if you've got both headphones in, there's no way of hearing anyone outside or the door knocking or anything like that. Right. So I had the one headphone in, So I completely missed the left-hand side of like the sound. So I couldn't hear the footsteps going on the left-hand side. So I just turned and seen something. I was like, fuck's sake. Just like proper shit myself over it like a couple of times. I was like, you know what? That's going to be fun to take to my dad's and be like, yeah, dad.
Yeah.
Have a go with this and just see him shit himself. And I'm like, that's all I want it for. And I was like, yeah, I've tried it. I'm like, yeah, this is quite fun. This is the one to show people. Like, it is quite amusing. But I've been watching loads of, like, they've been doing, especially during lockdown, they've been doing loads of like nature documentaries that you can go into virtual theatre and sit and watch and that sort of stuff. And they're all like immersive and actually really fun. So I've been using the Quest for that while Ashley's been playing like Animal Crossing and stuff. I find myself just sitting off and just watching that on the comfort of the couch. It's like a really nice, fun thing to do. But there's now so much stuff that's coming out, because that getting towards that time of year, I'm like, oh my god, this is coming out now. Oh, and this is exciting. Like that Ghost of Tsushima. I'll never pronounce it right. I know I won't, but like,
it's pretty good.
That just my days. It's as though Sucker Punch have just gone, right, guys, what's the one thing everyone's been clamoring for? Do you want an Assassin's Creed feudal Japan? Right. You know what we should give it?
that's true.
That mixed with Neo. It's basically that. It looks just like that. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Like the screenshots people are taking and launching up online. So I've saved a few on my laptop to have as my backgrounds because they're just absolutely stunning. And like the fact that it's got the multiple endings, is the open world, but apparently you don't have to take the piss and go through all the side mission stuff. You can just rag through the game if you want to. Like the different stances, they put loads of stuff into it. But the thing I loved is the fact they sat off and they're like, right, do they want this? Or should we do a game about pirates? Or do you want to do the Three Musketeers? Or like, what do you want to do? And they were like, nah, let's do the feudal Japan, just so that we can say we did it before the Assassin's Creed guys did. I'm like, yeah, fair play. Like, I'm very happy with that, because now if Assassin's Creed do go, you know what, people have been clamoring for it. Valhalla probably did great, but not as good as what we probably hoped for. Let's give them what they want. They've got it now. They don't really need to have the Assassin's Creed variation of it.
Well, you say that, but it feels like more that they will go, oh, whoa, people really like samurais. Okay, great. Yeah. Let's make that the next one.
Well, if this does slightly good, they'll probably be like, oh, you know what, people love Vikings. Let's do another spin-off. And then another one, and we'll just keep on including fucking Vikings and everything, like they did with the fucking boats. I hate the boating sections in Assassin's Creed, Dan. That's one of my things. I just can't stand. Like Black Flag, everyone says that's the best Assassin's Creed game of all time.
Yeah,
and it's probably my worst.
But I remember playing it at EGX, and we kind of enjoyed the boating sections. But it seemed like, maybe on isolated to this one playthrough, it was a fun little aside, and they'd done a fairly good job of it. But when you throw that into the game, and it's every hour or so you're out on a boat, and then you've got another battle, I can see it getting tedious.
Yeah, and I think as well because the title of the game is Assassins, so. When you're not
just going to sneak up on this guy with a cannon.
Yeah, you're on a boat doing fucking massive naval battles. That's not assassinating people. It's just that whole series has just gone on askew.
That's the problem with games like that. I'm sure when they started Assassin's Creed, it was a team that pitched this idea and it went, great, run with it. And then it becomes this massive franchise, and Ubisoft go, right, we want one every year. And then it suddenly becomes a game by committee, all the heads of Ubisoft saying, what are you going to do that's different this time? Naval battles? Yep, brilliant, do that. Every idea, however stupid, then suddenly gets approved by someone who has no clue. So you always end up with them trying to... I mean, that's why this new one and the last one were all about these massive, huge 100-man battles. Again, nothing to do with Assassins. They just want it to be different. But like, people don't want the same game over and over again. Let's mix it up. And it's our fault. I don't mean necessarily us, just generally everyone, for going, oh, it's just the same every year. You know, Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and whatever the other one was. Everyone was just a bit, oh, it's just the same game again, just a different story. So,
but I think that that was the Ezio trilogy. That's what that was, and I get it, but it's at the same time, it's like Ubisoft have put on hold. It's like I got so excited before because like I seen on IGN an article saying, "Hey, there's a new Prince of Persia game coming out," and I was like, "Holy shit!" I thought Ubisoft said it was on hold, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" Like they said they weren't going to do anything, and then when I looked, it's a real life escape room, be it like a VR one, so you all get together in like a big warehouse, put on the VR headsets, and it's an escape room.
Prince of Persia.
Yep. It's called The Dagger of Time. Right. Is what it is.
The weird thing about Prince of Persia, like when you look back at the original games, and then the sort of the trilogy from whatever a generation ago. It was 2, wasn't it? Was it on original Xbox?
Original Xbox, yeah.
You know, apart from the setting and the character, they were not really that alike. It was all it was the whole time travel thing. And that was what made the game. I love those games. That was one of the few trilogies that I've gone and played through every single one. You know, I've completed them. Back in the day when I did play loads and loads of games, and I had a job. That was weird. But it became more about this, the Sands of Time, the time traveling dagger. But I'm kind of almost surprised I've gone, well, let's just keep it as this. People seem to know the original retro version as the sort of the version that they want to base stuff on. But again, this escape room is more about the time travel.
Yeah, so they announced it on Wednesday. So apparently it's a co-op escape room that utilizes the VR set in the Prince of Persia universe. So the Dagger of Time puts between 2 to 4 people in a reimagined fortress of time, which was originally from the Prince of Persia Warrior Within. So apparently you used the time control powers of its titular dagger to solve puzzles and stop the Sand Army from being raised. So yeah, we waited 10 years for that, Dan. 10 years.
Yep.
But the thing is, I don't know if now they release Prince of Persia, they're just going to be like, you know what, that's just Assassin's Creed.
But no, like say that, there's so many games that I look at and I go, right, what's a great example of something that's been properly brought into like this generation, like, and that's Tomb Raider. Like I've just finished the 3rd Tomb Raider, and you look back at the old ones, and I know there's some anniversary project going on where they seem to be rumoring that they're going to re-release the original ones, but they have come on so much. They've come from this. I mean, even I really enjoyed what was it, Legacy and Underworld, and the other one that I forget what it's called. Legend, was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
They were great. That was sort of a really good stepping stone to these new ones. And I wish they would do that with so many games. Like Prince of Persia would be ideal. I really think they could do a next-gen modern version. Stick the team that are on Assassin's Creed on it. Just give them a couple of years off and do something like that. That's fine. But it was that mechanics of being able to rewind time when you make mistakes, and that was so much fun. Really added to the game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, to be fair. Like, I did enjoy the Prince of Persia titles. And the other one, the one I really want back is Max Payne. Like, I know Max Payne 3 didn't do that great sales-wise, but it was an amazing title. It was such a good one, and it was so underrated. And like it needs a new entry. And like at this time, bullet time was everywhere. It was the same when Prince of Persia did the time reversal. There were so many games that were like, oh, that worked really well. Let's stick it in that, and then it was the fad. And now we've just got the open world fad is what we've got at the moment, where we're just like, hey, go over here. Here's 1,000 side quests to do the same fucking thing non-stop. Which is a shame. I don't know if I'm just angry because I don't have time to do these sort of things anymore, or if it's just because it is very repetitive. Like, there was only so many missions on the last Assassin's Creed I could play where I'm like, oh god. Or like chasing down the music note paper to get a new siege chanty from a boat. Chase down 100 of them and then fucking kill 100 birds to fucking stops something else from happening. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want to play the game. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my rant. You're furious. What are you furious about?
So many things, Reg.
Okay.
First one, and the reason that I've been sort of so intently trying to get this video sorted is because my MacBook broke. I say broke. I didn't break it. The screen's just gone. I'm on it now. I can see about 1.5 inches of the screen on the left, and it keeps flickering. And then the rest of the screen is I can see just between all these purple flashing lines. But if I close it 3/4 of the way down, so it's still open, so I can just about see it and I can get to the keyboard, it works fine. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, so I need to take it to I've booked in to the Apple Store and I'm going tomorrow. So I don't know how long they're going to have it for while they replace my screen or fix it, whatever they want to do. So I just wanted to get everything done before then. So I've just been, every hour I've had nothing else to do, I've been on that video. And then I just went and uploaded it. It went up about half an hour ago. All the comments are flooding in, so that's fun. And then Facebook go, oh, there's audio in this that we think is not yours, so we're going to mute it. So nice. Yeah, I had a look, and it's like, out of this entire 6.5-minute video where the song plays twice because there's credits at the end with the instrumental, we can't let you play 25 seconds of the music. Like, just surely it's all or nothing. What is your algorithm recognizing?
I don't understand the 25 seconds.
No, but it's like it's Aha, Take On Me, the instrumental version. We can tell, so there's going to be 25 seconds of it muted. But YouTube, on the other hand, YouTube's great. YouTube goes, we can tell that this is someone else's song. Don't worry about it. It'll stay in, but you can't make any money off it, which we don't anyway. So we didn't want, I don't care about that. If you do make money, it'll go to Aha's record company or whatever. But then also half the time, most of the time, in fact, it says, we can tell this isn't your music, but if it's a cover version, let us know, because then you can share in the money from it. So they're fine. YouTube are really nice about it. Like, yep, people are going to do cover versions. That's all fine. But Facebook is like, if this isn't yours, then that's a problem. So it's fine. We said that there is no problem, and it's now not muted. But we'll see if Facebook's lawyers come banging down our door. Parody, Reg. It's parody. Parody is allowed in America, which we are not in, but who cares? We'll put Dave on the phone with them, and then they'll get fooled into thinking we're American.
Good show.
Yeah.
Good show.
Yeah, and what else happened? Oh, I fell over in the bath, and I have bruised my arm and my buttocks. I am officially an old man.
I can't believe you fell over in the bath. That's hilarious.
There was soap on the bath, on the shower. My shower is in my bath, one of those. And I wasn't even doing anything. I was just literally standing there about to get out, and I just felt one foot go, and I was like, whoa. And it took about 3 or 4 seconds before the actual fall happened. But
a proper Wile E. Coyote moment.
Yeah. But apart from the fact there would have been horrendous nudity, I would love to see a video of it happening, because I bet it would be hilarious. And I literally just landed. And I mean, it's painful sitting here trying to do the podcast with you, because I'm going to have bruised buttocks, no doubt.
I know how that feels, mate.
Yeah, me too. We won't tell that story, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, I meant by being hit by the car.
Oh, hit by a car.
Yeah,
okay,
and then sitting in the car for like an hour to get to Manchester in the traffic to go see Frosty.
Oh yeah, and then going over speed bumps.
Yeah, that was not fun.
It wasn't fun, but it was funny.
Nope.
Yep.
Still to this day was not amusing. So, yeah. Speaking of non-amusing things, have you seen The Old Guard on Netflix?
Not yet, but I will. I've heard it's broken records.
Yeah, it's supposed to be incredible, and they've also did a game, a browser-based game for it.
Yeah, and you can win 1,000 months of Netflix or something. If
Yeah,
you...
it's over now. It was only
Okay.
valid for like the weekend just gone. But
Fair
I'm annoyed that I never did that. But the game looks awesome. It looks like a bit like Hotline Miami.
Oh, right, okay.
Slash Gauntlet type thing. So it looks.
I do like Netflix. Have done this a few times. They did it with Stranger Things, didn't it? When season 2 came out.
So good. Yeah.
And it was amazing. And
it was
I think
better than the actual series.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a Zelda style. I mean, it was Zelda, wasn't it? But Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
It was just brilliant, top down sort of adventure thing where you had to collect the different members of the group, and each one had to get a different item. It was great, loads of fun, and it was totally free. For no reason, it was just free. It was just advertising. And then they released the game for the second, when the third season came out, and that one you had to pay for. So I do not know whether that was good.
No, apparently it's nowhere near as good as the free one either, which is hilarious.
No, exactly.
While we are talking about free top-down Zelda-esque games, so two things. So before I go into the big thing, so someone who's a massive fan of Bloodborne has created a free indie title called Yarntown, which basically is a isometric Bloodborne, but done. It looks like Zelda-y. Apparently, that's where he got his inspiration from. And it's free to download and play, and it looks awesome, like just incredible. Like you actually start off in the Hunter's Dream area, where you actually like start in Bloodborne. You do the doll and you level up everything. You can fortify your weapon, and then you go out into Central Yharnam, and you've got the boss battles. You've got the sewers. You've got like when you see the screenshots and stuff. I was looking at a video of it, like the trailer, and the trailer's just amazing. But just literally looking at a screenshot, I can tell exactly where that is in the actual Bloodborne game, and it's done so well, and it looks amazing. The combat, the visuals, everything looks amazing. Completely free, but yeah, that's awesome. I'll post a link to it once this pod goes live on our Twitter and Facebook and socials, whatnot.
Yeah, and that all depends on how long Apple take to fix my MacBook.
Yes, true that. Very true, because I'm on the work laptop, so I don't have any editing software I'm allowed to download, unfortunately.
Don't worry.
We can pass it on to Sean. He can do it.
Yeah, give him something to do.
I'll allow it. And then the other thing, which was talking about Zelda and Zelda type things, is Nintendo did a surprise sort of mini direct. Nintendo Direct today. You know how they always do around the E3 area, around the E3 time. They're like, hey, here's a mini one. So this is called the Partner Showcase, which is what they've done. They said it's not a huge thing. It's
so
just
it's all third party games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did the Crypt of the Necrodancer, if you remember that title, when they crossed it over with Legend of Zelda. It's the Cadence of
Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah.
Which is awesome as well. My niece Lily's got it, and I absolutely freaking love it. So I'm going to have to get that on the Switch at some point. They're getting another 3 DLC packs for it. They're like, yeah, done so well. We're going to do like another 3 huge DLC packs for it, which is just awesome. So that's going to extend that game further, which is great. And then they showed off the WWE 2K Battlegrounds game, which is do you remember WWF All Stars?
Yes. Yeah.
It's basically a new version of that from the look of it.
Okay.
Just very fun, arcadey, don't take itself seriously sort of shit. It's that. And then there's another sort of a team shooter which is showing off, which doesn't look that great, but it's out in early access now, called Rogue Company. So it might be something worth a quick mood chat if you're into that sort of stuff.
I mean, I know you probably don't. It's not like you're going to have numbers and stats to hand, but you know, with like the Wii and to a lesser extent the Wii U, the problem with that one that was no one bought one, but with the Wii, it sold millions and millions and millions and millions in hardware, and then all the first party games sold great, but anything that wasn't Mario or Zelda just seemed to just not really go anywhere, to the point where I mean, it was EA, wasn't it? EA didn't make any games for the Wii because they were just like, people don't buy them if it's not a Nintendo first party. So is that happening with the Switch?
Nope.
Like, so
Switch is doing amazing.
I see. So many games coming out on it. I mean, even the fact that something like Skyrim and Witcher 3 and things, old games that they feel like, right, this is worth porting to. I'm assuming they do sell well, regardless of whether they're a first party.
Yeah, they're selling really well, to be fair. When you see them in the charts and stuff, they're always very high up in the official Switch selling titles and all that sort of stuff. They're always dead high, so that's great. And then they've got another one which they've just announced as apparently an exclusive, but I don't know if it's going to be a timed exclusive or what. But Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Okay.
Which everyone's been clamoring to try and get Persona onto the Switch. Persona 5.
It'll happen.
They're saying it needs to happen. But Persona is literally a spin-off from Shin Megami Tensei. So I was going to say, the fact that they're going, hey, here it is, and it's an exclusive, I'm like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Wow.
They started off by going like, hey, here's my favorite Shin Megami Tensei title was 3, so the Nocturne. That's what it was. That was my entry into Shin Megami Tensei. Dave borrowed it me on the PS2, and I was like, you know what? It looked all right when you were playing it, but I don't think it's my sort of thing. And then I was hooked, and I was like, right, okay, I lied. It's actually awesome. They're doing a HD remaster of that as well, but that's going to be coming out next year on the Switch and possibly the PS4. I think is what they were saying.
Right.
But number 5 is definitely coming out next year as well. But that's going to be a Switch exclusive.
Wow. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, so I was like, that's incredible. And that was it. That was all they showed, and we're like, hey, see ya. And it's like, oh, I thought you were going to do like loads, but apparently they're doing another one later on down the line, and that's going to be the big, huge, like, hey, here's everything else we haven't shown you yet. But they've been smashing out the park. So obviously you've got the new Paper Mario as well. You just come out like Origami King. And that looks so much fun. Like, I love the Paper Mario series. I know the last 2 are sort of not been RPG. Been a bit more focused around like just the weird sort of, I don't know how to explain them, because they're still quite RPG. They're definitely not platform sort of titles, but they're adventure games, so to speak. But this is sort of more accustomed to the RPG side of it.
Yeah.
And the big thing about this one is obviously the whole world and everything is made out of paper. Like, everything is origami made out of paper. It looks stunning.
It really does. Yeah. I love stuff like that. It reminds me of Tearaway.
Yeah. So we spoke about Tearaway last week, didn't we? Saying how good, and like, I love it. Was so great, but people haven't gone, people loved it, let's make this. And making very similar games. I love the fact it stuck out and it was unique and looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
And this looks really fun. And the combat system is now sort of a puzzle before you start, about trying to get these circles all lined up to where the enemies stand and where you stand. And that will give you either an advantage or disadvantage in the actual battle itself. So there's a load of tactics and stuff being thrown into it. So like, that's going to be probably another one that I'm like, right, when you finish like next year with Animal Crossing, this might be something to have a look into. But she got me slightly addicted to it not last night, the night before, because she's rubbish at fishing. She was saying on the game. So she said, "Do you mind if you just do a couple of fish for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, no worries, that's fine." So like, went over, didn't know how to fish, so I was like, "Right, I'll try and work this out myself then." I tried working it out, and the next thing you know, like an hour and a half had passed, and I just been spending it fishing in Animal Crossing. I was like, I could have been doing so many other things, but it's just so addictive. Like, it just passes the time so quickly that I could see myself, she's got something on she wants on the telly, just be like, pass us your game, I'm just going to go fishing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could be playing Divinity or anything, but I'm like, nah, just pass me that, I want to go fishing.
Yeah. As I've mentioned a couple of times, I recently got a 2DS XL.
Yes.
And I was very, very tempted. It was on Animal Crossing New Leaf, which is supposed to be as good, if not better, as whatever the new one is on.
Yeah, New Horizons.
New Horizons, yeah. And that was reduced on Amazon to like 15 quid the other day, and I was like, that seems like good value when everyone's raving about this £40 game on the Switch. Maybe that'll be a fun little thing, like time sync. But then at the same time, I don't want to lose so much time on a game like that.
It's just, it's crazy. It's like I sort of understand it on a handheld perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just when it's something when like she turns it on and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and in the game it is like it's real time. So it's like you can't just fast forward to do stuff in the day, like when like your crops grow or whatever.
Oh, right.
You can't.
So if that's when you're playing it.
That's what time it is.
That's what
You can't.
No
The only way you can do it is by diddling the time on the Switch to be like, hey, it's 12 o'clock in the day, and then it's like, oh right, sure, let's do this then. But yeah, it's crazy the amount of effort people go into. It's like seeing some of the islands that people have and like the customization. I was saying to Ash, someone has opened up a shop in their island, I think it is, or whatever you call it, where you can buy like Gucci and fucking Nike trainers and that sort of stuff with money, actual money to put in your game. And like it's
well, that makes sense because you sell like a QR code, don't you, or a string of text, and that gives you the item.
Yeah,
I see that all the time. People putting up like, "Hey, look what we've done." You need to make some little Nerd OD outfits, Reg, and then we can just put them up on Twitter and stuff, and say, "Hey, here you go, everyone."
Yeah, if you had
Can't
to,
have merch in real life.
I'll ask Ash to show me how to do the custom stuff, and I'll do it, get the link to it, and I'll stick it up. Be like, "Hey, join our island," and then someone else can. Because the only thing is, you can only have one island per Switch.
Yeah, I've heard that. That seems
weird.
insane. Even if you bought another copy of the game, you can't start a new island.
No, it's literally dedicated to that Switch.
Yeah. So there's a YouTuber. They're not particularly a gaming YouTuber, but they do have a gaming channel. But they literally was on Instagram the other day going, I had to buy a new Switch because I started playing it on my own, and then I wanted to YouTube it, and I wanted to make a YouTube island, so I had to buy a whole nother Switch so I can play this game with you guys. Just like, really?
It's mental, isn't it? So like, I can't just start giving out stuff to people to go to Ash's Island from Nerd OD. Which, there's thousands of people out there that would do that.
Yeah. Oh no, but you can make an outfit. You can make the code for the outfit, and then you just tweet a picture of it, which is the QR code of the item. That's all I mean. And then people just scan that in, and suddenly they've got that item of clothing in the game. Right.
Okay. Cool. Now I know that's how to do it. I'll show it. So. I'll get it to show me how to do custom items and stuff, and then we might be able to have.
We sound like just old men talking about just technology we don't understand. I think that you press that button, and I'm sure, that's what all the kids are doing. They're just sharing all their t-shirt designs.
It is bad, isn't it? To be fair, it's like I was watching Henry Cavill, so we should have this into when we were talking about The Witcher. To be honest,
fair enough.
But have you seen he was building his PC?
Yeah.
His game. Have you seen how much it cost him?
No.
So people
more into it than the video.
People had been going, right, this is what it is that he's built to create this. Like, I thought I was keeping up to date with sort of stuff, like PC sort of stuff, like what the like sort of processors were and that sort of stuff. And I'm looking at these like, what's that? I don't even understand what that is. I'm like, no, I'm completely lost. And it's all well expensive shit, like well expensive. But I thought when he working it all out, I was like, right, okay, it's going to be like so pricey, it's crazy. But it's about the price of an Alienware laptop. So it's like, it's $4,000, so about 3,250 quid is what it worked out in. But his video is quite entertaining. I'm just sat there looking at the case like, oh God, like what am I doing? Like I really want to build it, but this is just like crazy how to actually go about it. And he's got the instruction manual in one hand, and he's just like hand in the head in the other one, like, oh dear God, what? And I'm like, yep, that would be me. I would not know where to start, and I would ruin it. So I would not want to build my own PC. I want one, but I wouldn't want to build it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, like how much he's into gaming. Like, I love it. Absolutely love it. And like Elijah Wood and stuff, who goes to the people's islands to sell turnips in Animal Crossing, he actually plays games.
Fair enough. I mean, they are people just like us, Reg.
Are they? But
apparently,
I'm better than most people. So I've been told by someone.
Well, you
might have been my mum.
I was going to say your mum or your wife.
Definitely not my wife. My wife hates me.
Fair enough.
No, she doesn't. At least I hope she doesn't. Anyway. But while we are speaking of people who hate each other, have you seen the artwork that's shown off from the new Godzilla film?
No. What, Godzilla versus King Kong?
Versus King Kong.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've done some. So in the latest trend of toys spoiling characters in films and stuff, they did on the back of the Playmates figures. They've actually got it looks a bit like concept art, if I'm honest, but it's. And I don't understand how it works, but it's King Kong and Godzilla fighting on an air carrier.
Okay.
An airship carrier, or whatever they're fucking called. The boats that planes take off on. Aircraft carrier. Aircraft carrier. Fucking hell. Airship carrier. It's late, and it feels a lot later in the week than what it is. Like, I keep telling people, have a good weekend. And they're like, yeah, it's Monday. It was good, thank you. And I'm like, oh, yeah. We've got to stop doing that. But yeah, so they're supposed to be these huge, massive, titular monsters and gods. And yeah, they're fighting. Like, they're able to keep the weight of an aircraft carrier thing, which is just a bit weird. But apparently now that's got a new release date, hasn't it, of May the 21st, because it got moved again.
Fair enough. I mean, did you see, what was it, King of Monsters?
I'm halfway through it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised you didn't get through it in one sitting.
It was one of those that, the only reason to switch off because I had to go get Ash from work. Was when I switch off, and then I just never found the time to go back to it. It's one of them that I really want to watch it because I enjoyed the first Godzilla and I enjoyed King Kong films. Like, I enjoyed Skull Island. I thought it was really good. And I enjoyed the first Godzilla one, but I need to get back into it because I want to watch this. Like, I do. I've been wanting to watch this for ages. So hopefully they will be good. But
it's not terrible, but it was so disappointing. It felt like a 90s action movie, which is not what I wanted.
Oh, it's not what I was hoping. From Brendan Fraser.
Oh no, the what's it, the one from the Independence Day guys.
Yeah, that Godzilla one.
Better than that. It's just no, it wasn't very good. But I didn't like the first Godzilla, to be honest. Thingy was good. Skull Island was really good. I enjoyed that, but yeah, I was really, really looking forward to King of Monsters, but never mind. But in terms of films getting put back, so have you seen that movie theatres are starting to open up again?
Yes.
Our local cinemas, Odeons have reopened. I think Cineworld's View cinemas aren't open yet, but it's quite interesting. Obviously, there's no films for them to show, so they're either showing films that were out just before they had to close. So films like Onward, for example, stuff like that coming out, but they're just showing lots of old films. So, for example, I was having a look at the Odeon because tomorrow, when I take my Mac in, I'm going to have about 8 hours of the day to kill, I think, while I wait for them to fix it. So I'm like, what can I do? Oh, go to the cinema. And I went to have a look, and they're like, we're going to show Harry Potter 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to show Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. And I was like, oh okay, a Batman Dark Knight trilogy, that might be a fun thing to go and watch. But no, it's not that they're showing all three back to back. They're just, one week they're going to show Batman Begins, next week they're going to show The Dark Knight, next week they're going to show Dark Knight Rises. Like, okay, I'm not spending 15 quid for 3 films. And then they're showing The Empire Strikes Back. None of the other Star Wars, just The Empire Strikes Back.
Interesting.
Just like, hey, here's a film right slap bang in the middle of not just like, you know, a nonology or whatever they want to call a 9-movie trilogy, but in the middle of that original trilogy.
So with you just saying nonology then?
I'm assuming that's what I'm going for. Nonology.
Yeah,
nonology.
I'm going wildly off topic just for 2 seconds because that massively reminded me. So there's been playing on the mobile game and just little bits and pieces. Again, while I've not had the PS4 or anything. So there's a new Tales of game, you know, from Namco Bandai. They do like Tales of Symphonia and Berserk and all that sort of stuff. This is called Criteria or something like Criteria, whatever it is. And the opening thing is you defeat these soldiers in like the tutorial, and then it turns to the main character Cress, who looks at his mate and goes, "Phew, I believe that's enough for the nonce."
Okay.
And it's the English translation. I know it is, because unless that just one of those soldiers is an actual nonce, I don't think that they.
So that's what they meant. No.
They meant that. I sent it Mike. Mike is obsessed with the Tales of games. They're like his favorite RPG franchise. And I was like, "Is all the scripting like this?" And then he messaged me back going, "Please tell me you've doctored that." I was like, "Nope. No, this is the actual game." So he downloaded it and he was like, sent me the screenshot back. He was like, "This just happened." I'm not gonna lie about it. I literally played it 5 minutes ago, laughed, and sent you the fucking screenshot. But yeah, so the English translation of that is amusing, but it's massive, so I had to delete it because I've got no room because 12,000 baby photos.
Fair enough.
So, shame, but sorry.
I wonder
what
they're trying to translate there.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Download it and play it. It's literally been the first 3 minutes.
Okay.
So
it's
worth it.
It's like when you've got a Japanese game that they've translated, I'm really curious. Like I'm playing through. We were talking about Paper Mario before, so sort of a side version of that, the Mario and Luigi games,
so good,
Superstar Bros and stuff like that. So I'm playing Dream Team Brothers at the minute. I've got Paper Jam Bros next, which is the Paper Mario mashup one. But it's bizarre. It's got the most like weirdly irreverent humor that makes you think. There's so many times you play a translated Japanese game and you're just like, the writing's just really bad. But this is really good. It's really funny. It's really witty, and it's almost like I don't know. I don't think they've translated most of what it had to be. It's almost like they've looked at it and gone, "Yeah, this would be a good thing for him to say at this point."
Right.
So they've got the basic layout of it of the story. There's a point where it's all about this one. It's all about like Luigi is really good at sleeping. He always wants a nap. And every now and again you come across these glowing pillows and he has to have a nap on them, and then Mario goes into his dream, and then you play a level in the dream, like a platforming type level, and there's a bit where you're climbing this mountain and there's this fountain and these guys go, "Oh, to drink from the fountain, you'll really like it if you drink from the fountain." So I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe it's gonna like refresh all my power because I haven't come across a point where I can, get my health back up yet." So I drink from it, the screen goes dark, and then it shows pictures of a cloud and starts sort of going through this story, a good 3 or 4 minute story about how Mario and Luigi are dreaming, and they find a patch full of mushrooms, and all the mushrooms, more mushrooms than they could eat. They sit there for hours gorging on mushrooms. They could not tell how many mushrooms they'd eaten. I'm like, this is just this bizarre drug trip in the middle of a Mario game. And then it gets to the end of it, and they realize that they could never recreate this moment. That was the most mushrooms they have ever eaten, so there was no point anymore. And then it comes up, game over.
What?
Fades to black, and then suddenly another bit of text comes on the screen. It's like, oh, they wake up. it turns out it was some dream water, and it made them dream about mushrooms. But it was just really weird, and it wasn't even just like this quick little, 5-10 second thing where like, oh, you have a dream and you get refreshed. It's a really long, in-depth story about finding this mushroom patch, and someone sat there and gone, right, I'm gonna have fun with this.
Yeah,
it just really, yeah, it was awesome. But anyway, I genuinely think most of the time they don't bother translating it word for word. I think they just go, okay, this is a gist this person's got to get across. So I'm curious what that was.
Yeah, God knows.
Who knows?
It's weird. So I completely sidelined you then from your story about nonologies.
Oh well, yeah. It was just like, why out of all the films they picked have they gone? Which Star Wars? The fifth one.
I suppose it's the most iconic Star Wars, isn't it? Like if you turn to anyone and be like, "Hey, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?"
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, don't know why, because it's not.
It's maybe regarded as the best one, I suppose, isn't it?
Mm.
But it's still just, yeah.
I've got a feeling they've just gone up in the loft and just been like, right, what's up here? Shit, that'll do. Right, why haven't we got the rest? Someone sold them. Like, all right.
It's on a disc. They just or on a memory stick now. Like I went to watch a film. I went to watch the new. Well, it was the new Makoto Shinkai anime. The guy who did Your Name. Released a film called Weathering with You, and we were sat there waiting for it to come on, and then Jumanji came on. Someone went out and told them, and then the screen went off after a couple of minutes, and then we sat there for about 15 to 20 minutes, and someone came in and went, "Oh, sorry, the film's corrupt. We'd have to re-download it, but it'd take too long. So sorry, you can go and watch another film or get a refund." So it's not like they just
they just going on Pirate Bay and just being like, right, where can we get this from?
that's how they do it now. The films get delivered digitally, and they're just stored on these massive hard disks, and then they're played. It is, but I mean, great. That's why you don't get that little white circle up in the top right corner of films every 12 and a half minutes or whatever it is to tell the guy in the projector to change the reel. So, and bear in mind, back then that person was Sean. Sean was one of those guys. So
yeah, we know how trustworthy he is.
Exactly. If that's the sort of people they're going to be hiring, so help me.
Speaking of things coming on multiple stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I did have a point about films before we move to that.
Go on, yes.
So one of the big films that has been touted for ages as being like, cinemas are back open again, here's a film, is Tenet, which is the new Chris Nolan film.
I was going to say, I know I'm with this. Yeah.
So, it got obviously pushed back, and then they went, right, cinemas are going to be open around about now. And then it got delayed again, and and now they've finally gone, do you know what? We're just going to not give you a date. Now, we could watch it. I think, the cinemas over here seem to have got a pretty good grasp on what to do. And instead of showing it on 2 screens, they'll probably show it on about 12 screens so everyone can watch it, which is fine. But, some countries aren't quite handling it as well, and cinemas either aren't going to be able to open for another while or have to shut again. So, yeah, they've just given up for now. They've said, look, this is not going to Netflix. This is not going to Disney Plus.
He doesn't want it, does he? He's like, this is coming out in the pictures and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I bet James Cameron is laughing his tits off because everyone took the piss that Avatar 2, 3, and 4 were taking so long to come out. And I was like, they were going to come out now, but I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
Why this was going to happen? We'll do it. It wouldn't surprise me if this was just his long game.
Yeah, but some of the films that have been released during this whole, this saga, like the Trolls sequel. So that was obviously supposed to come out at the cinema about a week after everything got shut. So they decided to go down the digital route, and you could buy it for you could rent it, I think, for, was it about 11 or 12 quid for 48 hours. Which, if you're going to take, your 2 kids or whatever and their friends to the cinema to watch it, and you're going to spend £20 on a tub of popcorn, £12 to sit and watch a film at home, isn't that bad?
But that's
I don't want
to.
to
At home, aren't you? There's a difference. Like if I was watching at home, £14, I'd be like, you know what, you're waiting 4 months to get it on Blu-ray for that.
Yeah, because I've got no interest in watching the Trolls movie, but I really wanted to watch Onward, and they did the same with Onward. It came out at a tenner. I was like, I could do that, but we didn't. We waited 2 weeks, and then it was only £4.99, so that was good. But that film, the Trolls World Tour, whatever it's called, that made $100 million.
So it's
by releasing it at home.
Didn't it?
Yeah, but it cost more than that to make and distribute. So I get, like, from when that got announced that was how much it made, there was a lot of talk, or at least I read in a lot of articles saying there's a lot of talk like, oh, this could be the way forward. Look how well this did. Well, yeah, great, that made 100 million. But when it cost you 150 to make and market, no, it hasn't made your money back, because now it's gone straight to being, released. So I don't, unless stuff's made a lot cheaper, I don't see that working. And at the same time, I don't see it working with adult films, because exactly the reason you said. I don't mean, adult films. I mean grown up films.
The sad
adult
thing is,
films,
I knew
brilliant.
what you
They
meant
make millions
as well. Instead of making a joke, I couldn't even think about the joke. I was like, I get what you mean.
Joke to myself. But grown up movies, I don't think we would. But when you're a parent and you're sat at home and you've got a kid that suddenly isn't in school and has been dying to watch this new Trolls movie because he's seen all the adverts and heard all the songs, and they can't go and see it, you would go, right, here you go, yeah, we're going to have a night in, let's build an evening around this, and let's pay that £12 and watch it. So I get it for kids' films. Kids don't necessarily care about being at cinema. Most of the time they seem to hate being at the cinema because they never shut up. Whereas, I can't think of a film that I would go, oh great, I'm gonna pay this much to rent it to watch it at home. So I don't know. I don't think it's the future. I get why they're waiting for Tenet. He's really like, this needs to be seen on the big screen, and he's one of the few surefire names that, at least in America, if someone releases a film and they know that it's going to make money and it's going to be huge, it's Chris Nolan. He has that following now. So I do totally understand why they want to release it at the cinema. But yeah, who knows when we're going to see it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. But again, I can't see it. It will come out at some point, I'm sure it will, but I can't see it being any time in the next year at all.
No, well,
I think maybe holiday season 21.
Yeah, well, it's like if they released it, if everywhere. I mean, I don't. It's not like going, to talk about the coronavirus and everything. I'm not. It's not like I think that the UK's doing or has done a great job, but at least we are mostly at a point where things are all right and people are, businesses have allowed to be open and they're being sensible and handling things as best they can. To the point where cinemas can open, and you can sit with your family. You could go there to the cinema with 3 or 4 people and you could have your little row, and then there'll be a couple of seats, and then there might be some more people, and then there'll be the entire row behind you and in front of you empty. So I get that screens are going to be at 40% capacity or something like that.
Yeah.
But in a film like that, they'll just show twice as much. Instead of having it on 3 screens, it'll be on 8 screens. So people who want to see it will see it, and it will make its money. Maybe not quite as much as it would have pre all this, but that's not going to happen until America has dealt with its problems.
Sure.
So that's the bit, whether that is in the next few months or by next year, who knows. But yeah, that's the big market, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, the thing is, you can go to the theme parks there and stuff, so I don't understand why you can't go to the cinema.
Yeah, apparently I saw a heading of an article and it said It said, "Is Disney World Florida the safest place to be in Florida?" Because it's like the only place that they're like, okay, everyone like stand 2 meters apart, everyone wear masks, everything's disinfected. Whereas you go down your local Walmart and it's just, free for all.
It is, man.
So
I've been watching. I've been watching a couple of people, just because I've got so many fucking Orlando pages and Florida pages on Facebook. Just people walking around, live streaming, walking around like Animal Kingdom, and seeing like 3 people as they're walking around. I'm like, how can you stay open? Like, I've now watched. I must be going into double figures of videos now of people going like, oh my god, look at this, and you wait about a good 5-6 minutes before you see a person as they're live streaming it. I'm like, wow, your parks are dead. Like, this guy was like looked up at the Flight of Passage ride in Pandora, and was like, 10 minutes. This is the longest bloody queue I've been on, but it is only 10 minutes for what usually is a 4-hour queue. So he walks there, and the walk of the empty queue line took 10 minutes. That's what the 10-minute wait was. There was no one else literally queuing up there.
It's one of those. It's a show queue. There's a lot of them now.
Just took him 10 minutes to walk through the big ass queue.
Yeah. But you're describing all that, but then Alton Towers apparently is the polar opposite. Alton Towers is like 1.5-hour queues for rides because they're at their lower capacity, but then every ride is it's only a 50% capacity on the actual rides, and then every 30 minutes they have to stop for 5 minutes so they can deep clean all the rides. So yeah.
Oh my god!
I was really looking forward to going back, thinking, it'll be alright because I've got an annual pass, so I don't mind going and having a look. But it sounds like a nightmare.
That's mad.
But anywho, what did you try and segue onto, and I pulled you back over?
I can't remember, mate.
It's fine. Couldn't have been important then.
I was going to say, to be fair,
it's good. We're at 1 hour and 20. It's good though. That's what I like. I like when neither of us have. I'm guessing you don't have a list.
No. I didn't today. I've been so busy today. Usually I've started creating them, haven't I? But
yeah, I like when we can just have a bit of a gab and and it just flows from there. And then 1 hour and 20 later, we're like, oh, hang on. So
yeah, it has been fun.
It has been. It really has been. Cool. So thank you for listening. And if you make it this far, please go and have a look at our new Internet Sings video.
Yeah,
it's good.
Really fantastic.
It happens every time, but I start fiddling around with a video. I'm just like, this isn't going to be good. And then as you get through it, it gets better and better and better, and then it finally starts to sort of take shape. And if you watch it, I tried to do a little bit of like an homage to the Take On Me music video, which is where you've got the sort of the animated like cartoon style, which is fine. It's just an effect you lay on. But the bit that took forever was animating any person. Like I did the background as the cartoon and then cut out the person, but you have to frame by frame cut that person out. There's nothing where you can go like I did my bit against the green screen, so that's fine. So just said green screen, turn that into cartoon, and that did it. But when you've got a person who sent you a video where they're just standing against a bookcase full of pop vinyls or something like that, there's no program that I could find anyway that can go, oh, there's a person and cut them out. TikTok can do it. I don't get why TikTok can do it, but a £300 video editing program like Final Cut cannot cut a person out. So I had to manually chop around them. It was fun. Anyway. That's it for now. You're on mute, Reg.
Sorry,
all right.
I was muted.
It's all right.
All right.
Anyway, that's another reason I'm angry, because it took hours and hours to cut out a person singing a song. It's fun. Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there. And I will see you on Wednesday. And we will see the rest of you on Friday for another exciting nerd OD&D.
Well, you shall, sir. I look forward to it. Got my dice at the ready.
Yep. Oh, and events are allowed to start happening from October the 1st, so Comic-Cons can come back.
Yep, Chester Comic-Con.
Chester Comic-Con may be the first Comic-Con of the season, and we might actually go this time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Anyway, thanks for listening. See you later.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.